Welcome in my YouTube friends. Hello, I am Kim J of Kim J Sweet Healthy Life, and I want to talk about tonight the rewards are greater than the sacrifice as we use GLP-1 medications. I know for me it is even if it is not for someone you know. All right. And this is my journey that I want to share with you all. And then also for those who are in the chat, for you all to be able to share your journeys as well on a GLP-1 medication. Is your reward greater than the drawbacks? Let me know in the chat. And also, this is bigger than weight loss for me. And hopefully that is the same for you. Hello, Felicia Marie B. How are you doing? Thanks for coming in. She said, woo woo, Sweet Life Squad. Yes, yes. Thank you, honey. I hope you're doing well tonight. So, yes, I want to just talk about the rewards and the drawbacks because there are some drawbacks, that people experience when it comes to GLP-1 medications. So, I would love to talk about that with the Sweet Life Squad today. And for those who are listening in, if you all want to come on in and chat, I would love for you to be here with us tonight. Yes, yes. And if for those who are on the replay, let me know in the comment section how you're feeling on your GLP-1 medication. If you're thinking about taking one, but you haven't determined yet, I'm hoping that this actual live will help you determine whether it will be something that you may look into taking at a particular time in your life. Yes. And hopefully, for those who are haters of our GLP-1 medication and those of us who decided to take it, hopefully, this will give you some insight tonight as well on the education when it comes down to a personal experiences on GLP-1 medications. Now, of course, I am not a doctor. I am not a dietitian. I'm just sharing my own experience. And then those who come into the chat tonight, they're going to share their experiences on this GLP-1 medication. It has helped so many people, and scientists and doctors, and the powers to be have been finding out these medications have been doing way better than expected initially. And so, yes, while there are drawbacks to this medication, for some people, and unfortunately, that is the case. Just think about every medication that we can actually decide to take for whatever reason, whatever, something that may be over the counter that you decide to take yourself, or it could be something that your doctor prescribed for you. They all of them have drawbacks to it. Could be one side effect, it could be million, a lot of side effects. However, nonetheless, side effects, right? And then sometimes there are good side effects to medication. So, that's why I said the drawbacks, and I also I want to talk about the benefits of it. But for me, this GLP-1 medication that I'm on, that's Manjaro, it's for type 2 diabetes, and that's why I got on the medication and found out that I had an A1C of 15.1 when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which is about 3 times the normal range that it should have been in. The normal range is anything 5.6 and under. And yes, mine was 15.1. So that's why I initially got on this GLP-1 Manjaro. And I know a lot of people, or some people don't know the name Manjaro, but they definitely, a whole lot of people are used to hearing the word Ozempic. Well, it's one that also is a GLP-1. Ozempic is a GLP-1 only, and it helps with appetite suppression, for people. But then Manjaro has two agonists in it, and it helps with appetite suppression as well as it helps with food noise. So if you have intrusive thoughts of always wanting something to eat, some type of food to eat, then you may have food noise, and you can discuss that with your doctor and see if any of these medications, the GLP-1 medications, are something that you may want to get on to help you with your better health journey. Now, I am on a better health journey. I'm not on Manjaro for just particular weight loss, but I have been able to enjoy the medication or the benefits of weight loss. Matter of fact, 76 pounds in a year, and so I'm, ecstatic about that. Of course, it's something I needed to do anyway, lose some weight. And even though I was, thought I was fine anyway, I still knew that when it comes to health, I could drop some pounds, right? And so, therefore, me being on Manjaro for my type 2 diabetes, having this tool also to help me, lose some unwanted pounds, that in itself was a reason why I told my doctor I wanted to take this medication. It did what it was supposed to do. Yes. So let me talk to some people in this chat. I see some people coming in. All right. Felicia says, shout out to the GLP-1 haters. I'm still going to take the shot. Exactly. Hello, Paula. How are you doing? Thanks for coming in, sweetheart. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope you're doing well tonight. All right. Hello, she is Tamika. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well tonight. Yeah. So thank you all for coming in. So yes, I wanted to talk, if you saw the subject, and I've been talking a little bit about it already, just to kind of give a backstory for those who may not know about the medication. I think a lot of haters, Felicia Marie B, you know, the reason why they're haters is because they don't understand the medication. They hear things on the news about it, or they hear people's journeys, maybe one or two things that they've heard that may have been, a drawback. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's not a good medication. It, can make people unalive. It can do this, it can do that, and they're thinking about all the drawbacks that they've heard. But, sometimes, hearing things and not using it firsthand, or from people that have not ever used the medication, it may get a bad rep, right? So, with that being said, hopefully we can kind of shed some extra light on it tonight, talking about the benefits of taking a GLP-1 medication as well as the drawbacks, and then sharing our own experiences. Now, I did get some information, from, just me doing some research, going into some reputable websites to kind of, research about some things, put some things together so that we can talk about it. So, yes. All right. So Paula says, I just had a 30-minute conversation with a young man about God and Jesus. I know that's right. Yes. All right. She's been a witness, for the Lord. So bring it, GLP-1 haters out there. I'm locked and loaded. I know that's right. I know that's right. Yes. And know a thing or two about it, right? Yes. All right. And again, yes, thank you, Tamika. Yes, we're praying that everybody, that decides to take this medication, that that they use safety precautions when they do. And we're also hoping that, they're doing everything that they're supposed to do naturally, okay, as well as, making sure that they're following the instructions. When it comes down to GLP-1 medications, they do, provide instructions with the medication. They don't just give it to you. And if they do, then you need to check your doctor. They need to be explaining a little bit more to you about it. But you also have to do your own research. It's always good to do your own research. I don't care what my doctor says, I'm looking it up myself to find out what's going on, because I want to be as educated as I possibly can. Also, I'm in a community that, are filled with GLP-1 people, users. And so, I listen at them, tell their stories and, just get more information. It's the more information, knowledge is power. Okay. Knowledge is power. And so we have to also use wisdom. So the Bible, since you brought it up, Paula, it's good to have knowledge, and understanding and wisdom. That's what we're seeking, to have knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. We don't want to talk at the side of our mouths, as people, the older people would say, about things that we may not know, right? So we want to learn these things before we start, giving our opinions about them, right? Especially when they're deep opinions, so compassionate opinions about things. So yes, I think this will be a great platform to talk and share of, how we've done, on our GLP-1 medications, since everybody, at least in the chat right now, is on a GLP-1 medication. So yes, hello, Purple Bellflower. How are you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in, sweetheart. Thank you. All right. So everybody's just saying hi to one another. Hello, Patrice Denise. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Okay, okay, okay. She says she's watching for the bushes tonight. And I thank you for those who are in the bushes. I thank you for those who are coming, and it's going to be in here with us tonight. I thank you for the ones that are, listening to this on the replay. I greatly appreciate you all. Yes, yes, yes. So I want to share a little bit about my, experience on this GLP-1 medication, but I also want people in the chat to share theirs as well. Just like I said, I'll read their comments, your comments, and Sweet Life Squad, and so we can hopefully educate some people that may be on the fence about GLP-1 medications, on the fence about taking the drug, and yeah, let me know in the comments how what your experience on GLP-1 medications, the benefits as well as the drawbacks, because there are drawbacks to every medication and there are benefits to every medication as well. So sometimes it just depends on the person itself. Some medications may not be good for me, but they may be excellent a choice for you. So with that being said, again, you want to make sure you have the knowledge before you talk about what's good and what's bad, right? For you know everyone. Okay. Yes, yes. All right. Hello, Life of Vivi. How are you doing? Thanks for coming in, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well tonight. All right. Yep. So everybody's just saying hi to one another. So yes, just want to kind of give some information on it. Now, sometimes every now and again, Curious with Kim will come up, and I like looking up and researching things because I want to make sure I'm not just, like I said, just talking. I want to make sure I'm getting information from reputable sites so that I can tell you all what the powers to be are saying about a certain thing. So for those who don't know how I kind of roll with my lives. So anyway, again, I feel like the rewards for me is much greater than small sacrifices that I had to make when it comes to GLP-1 medications. Me being on Manjaro for type 2 diabetes initially, and then finding out that it was something that will help me lose weight. And again, for those who don't know, I had an A1C of 15.1, which is three times you know the normal range. And then so I was able to get my A1C down very quickly back to a 5.6. Now, it wasn't just because of the medication for me. Okay, for some it was, but for me it was not. I know that I needed to do the natural things, the common things that we were supposed to do anyway, in order to get my A1C under control. But I also knew this medication would, or believe that this medication was going to help me do just that as well. It's always good if you have some assistance. Why not use assistance? Um, for instance, if have, I'm trying to think of something, but I'm just going to say, if you have something that can help you, do better with a thing, then why not use it? Why say, what, I'm not going to use that. I'm going, so say, for instance, I'm thinking of something, a cane. Now, for some reason, you have, a limp, and you may need a, cane to kind of assist you with walking. Why not use that cane? Why not? When it was, prescribed for you, maybe, or your doctor told you should have it, why not use that medication? Or I'm sorry, that cane, why not use it? When it comes to, a headache, and you've been dealing with this headache for a while, you may say, what, I want to, just kind of do some natural things, and let me go lay down for a little bit, and sometimes that's not good if, depending on what type of headache it is, to just go straight and lay down. It just depends on what's ailing you. But if you just have a little light headache for whatever reason, maybe you were stressed that day and it caused a headache, and you may have taken the natural precautions. Let me kind of de-stress myself, maybe go walking a little bit to kind of breathe in and breathe out, take some deep breaths. But for some reason, a headache is still there. Guess what? You have Tylenol, you have Advil, you have different things that can help you get rid of the headache. Or if you have pain, you're in pain and you need something to help assist you. Guess what? You may decide to take, some Advil, some ibuprofen to help relieve that pain, right? There's nothing wrong with you doing that. And most people don't say, oh, you shouldn't take that. Why would you take that? You need to white knuckle it, you need to do the natural way. No. Now, if you decide that you want to do it the natural way, you can, but there's tools out there that can help us. Why not take it? Why not take the chance to see if this tool will help you? And so that's what, those who are on GLP-1 medications decided to do, right? Even those on weight loss, decided to do it the weight loss way. They needed some help. And so therefore they did that. And that's okay. It was for them and their doctor to decide. And so they decided to do so, right? Nothing wrong with that. It's a individual decision what's best for them, as well as them talking to their doctor and finding out everything they can, researching and seeing if it sounds good for them to do. Let's try it and see how it works. Okay. So again, for me, I think the benefits outweigh the the drawbacks. Okay. Yes. All right. So when it comes down to you know the reward, what reward for those who are in the chat and even those who are on the on the replay later on, what rewards were you hoping being on GLP-1 medication would be able to help you when it comes to health, your health journey? What what rewards do you think? Can you let me know in the chat? And I'm going to jump back in the chat. And the examples I would say is like, maybe if you had any blood sugar issues, any insulin resistance, in any, you want to get more energy from the medication, you wanted more confidence, which, of course, the more you feel better at health, the more confidence it brings to you. The more you lose some weight, the more confidence, you have that little pep in your step because you're feeling good that you've been doing your thing, that the medication is doing what it's supposed to do and you're doing what you're supposed to do, and when it comes down to, doing the, cutting some of the carbs out, cutting some of the, the calories, getting more movement in and things of that nature. Also, did it help you with better mobility? That's something that, may have, been a success for people, or a benefit for people. What about confidence? Or, I said that, I'm sorry, or longevity. What about that? Um, and then, some people I know had gotten off the medication, so they were able to do, what they needed to do. They met their goals and they decided to get off the medication, and that was a benefit in itself to be able to get off the medication, if, and hopefully that you're able to stay off. There's some people that need it for the long haul, and there's some people that, only need it for a little bit and they're doing well, after they've met their goal, deciding to come off the medication. What about mental health? Um, Taking a medication, GLP-1 medication, it can also help with clarity. It can help with, mental health in general. There's a lot of people that have been, say, picked at as a child, or have been overweight for a long time, and they've tried to do so many different, diets in the past, and for some reason they could not stick to it for whatever reason it was. And it wasn't just because they were lazy. It wasn't just because they didn't try, because they should have tried harder. It wasn't because of that. Now, maybe some people, that was their story. But most of us, and definitely in my community, my GLP-1 community, no, it was something that we found out. And as time progressed, people have found out, scientists, doctors, the powers to be have found out that obesity is actually a disease. It can be a disease for some people. And so just like any other disease where you take medications, this is one of the medications that, people with obesity decided to take. And it's a-okay. It is a-okay. Okay. And I don't want anybody to feel shamed for doing so. I don't want anybody to let people, naysayers, stop you from doing what you and your doctor, and what, hopefully you're praying about it, and that God has, instructed you to do, right? This is your health that you have to take, into account, and you have to prioritize, more than anybody's comments. Okay. You no longer have to be held to what somebody else thinks about you. Okay. Matter of fact, nobody really cares, about what they say. Okay. As long as we doing what God says, that's all that matters, right? All right, and what we feel is best. All right, so let me jump in this comment section real quick before I finish my little spiel. Hello, Janelle, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Trying to go through the comments. Everybody just saying hi to one another. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so Jen says she is driving to work back in the bushes. Thank you so much, Jen, for being here with me. I greatly appreciate your support, and everyone in the chat. I really do appreciate your support. Yes. Bill Flaw says drive safe, Jen. Yes. All right. Vivi says no more back pain, no more inflammation. She and watch stopping going off about my heart every 5 minutes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm so excited for you, Vivi. Yes, I'm so excited for you. Thank you, Lord, for that. All right. So that's those are her successes that she's shared with us. And that is awesome. All right. Paula said her rewards are inflammation reduced greatly. So her inflammation reduced greatly. Her A1C is normal. She breathes easier now, and she moves better. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, 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 Paula. That sounds great. That sounds great. Great benefits, great rewards. All right. Paula says she's down to the minimum of her blood pressure medicines. That's awesome. Sometimes we decided to take this GLP-1 medication, we didn't even realize that it may have helped blood pressure, right? But yes, it's helping blood pressure. For one, because we're losing some of this weight, right? Right. So even though you may be taking the medication for a specific thing and it is deemed necessary for this particular thing, it's helping other things, that you would have never thought that it would help. So that's awesome. Thank you for that, Paula. As well as I know Vivi, she's lost, quite a bit of weight as well. And her A1C is down as well. Yes, 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 in the normal range. She is Tamika says weight loss for her as well as inflammation is better. Yes, yes, yes. No, no inflammation, or it is better. Paula says blood pressure is 110/60 now. Awesome, awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, awesome. So you may actually be able to get off your blood pressure medicines, Paula. Awesome. Good job, ladies, Tamika says. Thank you, Tamika. So Paula said the benefits far outweigh the side effects. I know that's right. I know that's right. All right. Purple Bellflower says she is Tamika, such a blessing, right? So many great things the medication does, as like what Vivi also says. Yes, yes, yes. So true, so true. Felicia Marie B says, I could never speak more highly of trizepatide. Zepbound saved me from obesity, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, and Manjaro saved my dad from diabetes, kidney failure, and hypertension. How about that? Forever grateful. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Felicia, thanks for sharing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tamika said yes. All right. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So, thank you all for sharing that information. Yes, and I know it's Manjaro has helped Bellflower too. I know she hasn't said it, but yeah, it's helped Bellflower a whole lot. When it comes to taking the medication as well, Manjaro, and yeah, she's doing fabulous on her journey as well. Getting her A1C back down to the normal range as well, lost some weight, and other things that she want to share. But okay, so the common benefits for it, and this is Curious with Kim. So of course, like I said, this is when I come in and I look into what the powers that be are saying about the medications. All right, so possible points for or possible benefits for this medication is appetite regulation. All right, reduce food noise, improve blood sugar control, Potential improvements in insulin resistance, right? So I know Felicia's mentioned, insulin resistance. So again, here you go. Felicia's letting us know that it has improved, her insulin resistance. So she's more insulin sensitive now, which is what our body's supposed to be, in general. All right, reduce inflammation for some. Okay, I know Tamika said that, and I can't remember what everybody said, off off rip. Look, but I'm just saying. All right. So reduced weight loss, right? So weight loss support. There's more energy, because and you're able to move better, right? Turn the phone on. All right. So improve mobility, also healthier lab markers, okay, as well as, and one of them will let you know, lab markers is your A1C, let you know how your A1C is doing, as well as Patrice Denise, I know she's in the bushes too, and as well as Jen, I know they have done wonders as well on their, on their journeys. Okay, one using Zepbound, one using Manjaro. So yes, they've done very well on their journeys as well. A1C is improved. Weight loss. Just different things. All right, health markers are better. Mobility is better. Food noise is reduced. All of the things that I've just stated. All right, and then also there's opportunities to build healthier habits. Right. Um, excuse me, we have probably all, experienced that side effect, or benefits. Okay. So with that being said, I'm excited again for you all, just to have, explained that to me. But also I want to talk about the drawbacks. Well, let me jump in this chat real quick before I start that. So Paula says, and because of the challenge you started, Kim, and she's talking about the challenge that we talked. I actually started two challenges. One was for the beginning inner circle, which is my, the people that are within my membership, and then the other is, and that's a 21-day consistency challenge. We chose one thing or more to do, for 21 days, because 21 days, they say the powers of B says that, that's a good way to create a new habit. So yes, thank you for that, Paula. And then I also have with my Sweet Life Squad, I chose to do a walking challenge because May is National Walk Month. So yes, so there are people that are, they're doing that challenge as well. So I post something every day about that. If you all, want to, if look for my posts that come out, daily. I don't have a specific time that I post it, but if you want to share what you're doing, if you've been, doing what, trying to make habits happen, build new habits or build upon the habits you've already, created, great, because we're trying to not only create new habits, but we want to create disciplines so that when motivation, when motivation is put to the side sometimes, then we can, have the habit that we built to still push forward, right? So she does again says, Paula says, and because of the challenge you started, Kim J, I'm feeling so much better mentally. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I know you're doing a challenge. Your challenge is walking more, walking, making sure you get at least 30 minutes of walk in. And so I have stated before, you know, walking definitely can help your mental, especially when you're outside, you start doing your little walk, and you're, around, the birds and the trees and, in nature. And it's something about it that makes, you like woosah, you know, it provides clarity, like you said, it helps with mentally, to be able, I know a lot of times when I go walking, which I walk 10,000 steps a day is my average per day, that I walk. And I know when I go outside, I love walking outside, and so I go walk, I walk under the trees, and things of that nature. I hear the birds chirping, the squirrels move, running around and everything. Sometimes some dogs, some cats, or what have you. But everybody's just living their little things, living their little lives or whatever. And so, it feels great to be, on earth, seeing all the living things that's happening. And it also, it's my time where I can have some peaceful time with God, can do my little singing, to God, praising him and things of that nature. Um, Also just, thinking about things that I may go through, I'll be able to, kind of think them out a little bit better, when there's no distractions of like TV and, I have to cook or the kids or the, husband or whatever, there's no distractions. So when I'm just out there doing it on my own. So yes, I do understand that, Paula. Thanks for sharing. Amazing. Yes. Such a blessing. All right. So, Purple Bellflower says, walking can be very therapeutic, Paula. Yes. Good for you. Thank you so much, Bellflower. All right. Yes, Tamika is also applauding Paula. Yes, yes. Thank you so much for cheering each other on. I greatly appreciate that as well. All right. Paula says, thank you, Bellflower. Yes, it really is, honey. All right, Tamika, thank you. All right, Paula also says, something I was thinking about. Before I started the GLP-1 medication, I didn't feel up to exercising. Now, I look forward to it. I feel you on that, Paula. I say sometimes I was couch to walk, couch to walk. I know I hear, some people say, they couch to run, or 5K run or whatever the case may be. I was couch to walk. Okay. I did walk, of course, because I had to get different places, right? If it was something that I had to do, then of course I would get my walk on. If I'm going to Disney World, I'm gonna get my walk on. Okay. Yes, I'm not gonna just, stop and not, enjoy everything that, Disney, that I enjoy in Disney, I should say, that they have for me. So it's a lot of walking there, right? But just to say I'm going to exercise, not so much. I'll start it and then I'll stop. Then I'll start and then I'll stop. And at that point, I remember needing people to be with me to keep me motivated, right? But the reason why I started at 21 day consistency, as well as our walk challenge for the Sweet Life Squad, I felt like it's good to actually get these things in, get this movement in, or whatever else you thought to do on this 21 day of consistency challenge, just to make sure that we are building habits, building consistencies, okay, building new habits, and hopefully creating disciplines. And I have gotten, just like Paula have stated, and I'm happy and I praise God for that, giving me that, to that thought or the challenge, to share with, the becoming inner circle. So I'm happy about that, that I did, obey. And then not only that, I know I was going through some things and I want to, get back to doing the things that I kind of fell off doing. And so, yes, I thought this, like, let me just bring my becoming inner circle in with me on this. Yes. But yes, before this journey, this better health journey, I was barely walking, for exercise wise, and yeah, when I got on this journey, after I started, my better health journey and getting on Manjaro and things of that nature, I knew it was something that I needed to do. Always knew it, always knew it, but just wasn't doing it. And so I'm thankful to God that I, decided to, get up off that couch and get to walking for exercise, for my health, not just because I need to do something. So yes, I do agree with you, Paul. I'm excited about it. I am excited about it. And now, honey, you can't stop me from walking. You can't stop me from getting in that gym and doing my little strength training. Or even at home, I do it as well. So you can't stop me from it, honey. And I'm like, what? Even when I don't feel like it, I'm able to still do it. So and that's part of the natural things that I'm talking about tonight. Yes, we have natural things that we have to do still, even on a GLP-1 medication, right? We still need to do the natural things if we want the most of this, better health journey. We need to make sure we're doing the natural things by eating, if you're on a weight loss journey, eating in a calorie deficit and not too much in a calorie deficit, right? But eating in a calorie deficit, and you can find out from your dietitian or your doctors on, what is a great calorie deficit for you at the moment, because it changes as you lose weight. There's changes. Also, there are, online tools that you can use to help you, determine what it is so that you can get the best benefits, on your GLP-1 medication journey. Okay, so Paula says, yes, Kim J, I was never consistent. Right. I would also start and stop exercising. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Thank you for sharing that, Paula. All right. Paula also says, now I want to be consistent. Praise God. I know that's right. I know that's right. And I'm happy for you. I am happy for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So let's get into the drawbacks of it all. Okay. So there's drawbacks to the GLP-1 medications. And everyone doesn't experience, every what you call it, win that we talked about earlier, right? Or what do I want to say? Benefits, right? And then everybody is not going to, experience these drawbacks either, right? But they're out there so we can, on websites, to so that we can know, as well as, on TV, your doctor should talk to you about it and everything, to make sure that you know what could happen. Okay. Because what I felt as a drawback, Paula may not, have that experience. So, but maybe Felicia does. So it just depends on the person, right? We're all made differently. All right. So let's talk about drawbacks of GLP-1 medications. All right. So possible drawbacks for us could be nausea, could be constipation, fatigue, slow progress, frustration. Okay. And a lot of us have felt that, right? Because it's going slow. You hear people say, I'm a turtle. When you hear that, they're talking about their weight loss is a little slower, progressing, than other people on the medication. You hear fast responders, slow responders, which is the same thing as slow progress, slow responders. You have fast responders. That means that, the medication is really really working well for you, as well as, like I say, if you're doing your thing too, the natural things, and you're doing that well, then yes, you may experience faster weight loss if you're on a weight loss, if you're on a weight loss journey. Okay, as a part of taking this GLP-1. All right, then we also have body image struggles. You may hear some people say, I have body dysmorphia. There's another one too, body it's a lag, and you realizing that you have, your body is smaller than what it once was. All right, then you have loose skin concerns. Maybe you have lost the fat, but the skin is still there. So some people have that. Emotional eating triggers surfacing. Okay, surfacing. Emotional eating triggers surfacing. So some people may have issues with that. And so you may have to, if you for some reason dealing with things and you may used to eat because of the situation, that's at hand. Some people don't eat at all. Some people, eat a little more during those times where we, maybe are anxious or things of that nature. So yes, that happens. Pressure for fast results. Pressure for fast results. And of course, you see other people that's getting, these quick results, being faster responders to the medications. And yes, sometimes that can be pressure, and that is a drawback, right? Because then you start feeling down on yourself. Okay. And we often talk about, that's why it's not good to compare, because it can steal the joy that we have about how our journeys was going. All right. And sometimes it's just how your body is made, your makeup, why you may lose faster than the next person, even before the medications. Sometimes that happen. You may have one person on a natural weight loss journey where they're not taking any kind of medications, they're just doing it all on their own, and they may, lose faster than the next person. You might be doing the same thing, but sometimes, there's reasons why that happens, because our makeup is different, our environment may be different, it's several other things too, but just to name those two things. And even our health, may be different. Some people may have only one thing that they have to deal with, like obesity only. And then some people may have five things they have to deal with, like me. I'm like, I have, you know, high blood pressure, kidney disease. I developed type 2 diabetes. I had hormonal issues because I'm a woman of a certain age, like Miss Kitty K says. And a lot of people, she's not the only one, but yes, we know in our community she is. I'm 52 years old. So, yes, either pretty much post menopause at this point. Also, cholesterol, having issues with my LDL was not good. It was, too high. My HDL was too low. Obesity, kidney disease, all of these things, I have, and that's a whole lot. I was talking to, Felicia Marie B, and just to, bring this up real quick. And she was like, Kim, do you really think about, I thought about this, and I hope she don't mind me sharing it, but I don't think so. But she was like, you know, I had dealt with some certain things, in my life. And I know I was able to, come to you and ask you about it because I knew you were dealing with these things. I know my dad was dealing with certain things in his life. And I thought about you and I talked to you about it, whatever. And you were able to give me, some advice about it and things of that nature. And I think about all the, some of the other people that's in our community. And I'm like, they have one thing going on. They may have two things going on. They may have three things going on, comorbidities or what have you. But you have them seem like you have so many at one time in one body, 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 so much going on, And so, it really dawned on me like, oh my gosh, you're doing a darn thing. Think about what have overcome, you overcame diabetes, your A1C is back into the normal range, and you were able to do that very quickly, and it's now being managed very well. You haven't had it go back up to a dangerous level. You also was able to lose 76 pounds in 1 year. You were also able to make sure your kidneys was stable. You're also, you were able to get your A1, your LDL down, and then you were able to raise the HDL, you know, and so, and all of the things that and your blood pressure is in normal range and it's staying in a normal range. You were able to get it down, even though you're taking the medications, certain medications still like before you were taking the medications and it was still high. But now with the things that you've done, you were able to get all of that under control and pretty quickly at that. So when she told me that, I'm like, I started thinking about it even more, and it just made me, really smile. But it also made, gave me tears of joy, and I'm like, thank God, for, when you hear somebody else talk about it, it's just another level of wow, I really thank God for, taking care of me, shielding me, protecting me, from all these diseases that could really take me out of here. Right. And again, like she said, I got so many. I don't know if I should say thank her, like thank her or say, oh my God, what is going on? Why I got so much stuff? you know? And so, but I thank God for really being there for me. And when you hear somebody, like I said, else talk about it and, they get it, it's like, okay, I'm happy that you do see me, more than just, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, or what have you about it. I'm also going to, I think, talk a little bit about me and my conversations with chat. It's going to be something that's going to come up a little later. But yes, I mean, I really do praise God for, him shielding and protecting me. And like you said, healing my body. I really do. And even though some of the medication, like my blood pressure medication, my doctor don't want to take me off of it. He's like, if I take you off and you've been on it for so long, over 20 years, and if I take you off of it right away, abruptly, just because the markers are good now, do you have a defense mechanism if for some reason that pressure shoots up? If you take the medication still, at least for now, then maybe, just maybe, if for some reason it does go back up, you're still safe, So I said, okay, I get it. I've only been on this journey for almost 2 years now, since July 30th. Well, since July, yeah, 30th of 2024, the Manjaro medication. And yes, so I understand that. I've been taking this for years. So why do I expect everything to go just like that? If it does, then that's awesome. If that's what you're in a doctor states to do, or think is best to do. But for me, I understand where he's coming from with it. And so I decided, okay, that's fine. I'll keep taking the medication like I'm supposed to. Excuse me. So another thing that a drawback is, and I hope you all are telling me in the chat what your drawbacks are. If you haven't, look, can you go ahead and do that? I'll greatly appreciate it. And I'm gonna get to the comments in a minute. Comparing journeys, so I said the pressure for fast results, but comparing journeys also, and that kind of goes hand in hand. You want to see the fast results, and so a lot of times we want to see that because we are comparing journeys, right? And again, we're not the same people. We don't have the same makeup. Yes, we were made by the same creator, came, or what have you, made in a likeness, and image of him. However, we're still unique. We're still unique. And that's the wonderful part of him creating us. Even though we came through, a man and a woman, but still, by way of, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been here. All right. God. And then also muscle loss if protein and strength trainer aren't priorities. Okay. At some point you will realize, that strength training is good. Now, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But, I know sometimes, with you not strength training, and I learned this the hard way. I didn't start strength training until about, I think maybe about 4 months or so. Yeah, 4 months before I really started really strength training, like being consistent with strength training. Yes. And I didn't realize that I should have done it from the jump. I wish I would have, but I learned from this community, and others that's in the community, that strength training was very important. So instead of shunning it, I decided to jump into it feet first. Yes. And I started off slow, and then I started, I got an accountability partner for, and for a while. And then I started kind of doing my own thing because I would start going to the gym. And this person couldn't go to the gym with me, of course, because they don't live, here in, where I live. So, I started going to the gym, and I just started doing the thing on my own. Like I was saying earlier, I was doing the, walking back in the day with people. I needed motivation for that. But I've learned with this journey to push forward, regardless if anybody wants to, walk with me or not. And I learned that, it bring me peace to walk, and again, God is always with us, right? He's always with us anyway. So with that being said, I was able to get, some prayer time in, some worship time in, and things of that nature, and then just get some clarity about life in general. Yes, yes. All right, let me jump in this chat real quick. All right, so Ruth says, hello. How are you doing, Ruth? How are you doing? I've been walking more and averaging 8,000 to 10,000 steps daily. All right, Ruth. Awesome, awesome. Thanks for coming in. Hope you're doing well tonight. And I'm happy about your, effort to move more. Yes. Great stuff. All right. Paula says, that's wonderful, Ruth. Yes, yes. Awesome. All right. Paula says, comparing our journeys to others can be a drawback. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Felicia says, Ruth, how wonderful. Yes. And I remember even Felicia was like, hey, Kim, I got 10,000 steps in one day. I know at one point she was at 8,000 steps a day. It was her target. At one point she was at, I think it was like 6,000 or 7,000. And then she moved up, but we were talking a lot, and she was, I was up in mine and she started up in hers. And, it was nice to be able to, even though we're not nowhere near the same, area of the United States, but, on the phone calls, we're able to, even, help each other along the way on our journey. So it's good to have somebody that you can, talk to about things, humans. I know a lot of times, some people are introverted and some people are extroverted. Some people are kind of in between. I'm a little in between. I took a personality test in college, and, it was was it Myers-Briggs test, personality test, and so I found out what my the information was, and yes, I'm pretty much introverted and extroverted, kind of almost balanced out, and I'm also a Libra, so I love my balance. I love my balance. So awesome, awesome. But yes, she's been up in her game as well on the walking. Okay, so Ruth says, yeah, hey Tamika. Period. I don't mind. Thank you, Felicia. Marie B. All right. Paula says, I have felt discouragement over slow weight loss. I finally, and this is her drawback. Okay. I finally came to terms with my body. It is going to go at the pace it wants to. Thank you for sharing that, Paula. That's a drawback that a lot of us, face, right? Whether we say it on here or not, that is something that we face at some point in, our lives, as well as, on this particular journey. We don't like the slowness of the weight being, reduced. And I think about it like this, and I'm dealing with it right now. I've talked to you all about it, that I'm in somewhat, I guess I'm in a plateau. And so I do lose a little bit, gain a little bit, lose a little bit, gain a little bit, lose a little bit, gain a little bit. But I have to remember, for myself, first of all, I'm way smaller, or have reduced weight way more than I've ever did on any other, you know, um, weight loss attempts. Okay. And also, I have to realize that it took years for this to come on me, and I kept it for years. So, why would I think it's going to come off so quick? Yes, others may have come off quicker, and it's so many reasons why it could have, right? Things that I may not be doing that they are doing, things that, um, they may have, one issue, for instance, obesity. But like I said, I have a multitude of, comorbidities. So sometimes that is an issue for me, and I'm dealing with some things now, trying to understand some things, because I would love to just be in control of it for once, right? And I have to realize that I don't have the control, right? This is the truth be told, some of the truth be told. I don't have control of but so much. Okay. And that's why I talk about the serenity prayer, knowing what I have control over, knowing what God has control over, and just knowing the difference between the two. Okay. Because we may know some things that we can't do, but still be trying to do it. Yep. But yes, knowing, you know, what we need to do. We need to take care of what we can take care of. And then the rest of it, we're going to pray about. We're going to have faith in God. And we're going to, wait, wait patiently for it to happen. God wants us to have patience, and so therefore we need to make sure that we walk in patience. Okay. It's gonna be better for us, because if we sit here in the stress and stress out about it all, we can, you know, make the weight loss worse. The weight for the weight loss to be worse, I should say. We can make that worse. It can delay our process, okay, of losing the weight, of getting better at health. Okay. I'm trying, like for me, with cholesterol. I wanted the cholesterol to go down. I knew my A1C went down fast. I knew my blood pressure went down pretty quick as well, pretty much almost together, hand in hand. And so now I'm like, I lost the weight pretty quickly. And now I'm like, okay, so why did I gain weight? And why am I stuck at, where I'm at right now? I do battle that because I'm flesh, I'm human. So of course, that kind of stuff will happen. But I also have to remember, God's promise to me. I have to, that he will take care of me. And then I also have to remember that this thing, it's a journey. And when we say it's a journey, that means it may take a long time to get where we want to be at. And even when we get to maintenance, we rush to get to maintenance. And guess what? Maintenance ain't easy either. It's not easy either. When you hear a lot of the people on here talk about maintenance and the things they have to deal with, to make sure they don't go back to, a certain weight, or they may have, gained 5 pounds or 10 pounds, and so they're, now cutting back again on some of the things that they were, they had started doing so that they can lose the weight again. So yes, sometimes, I mean, this again is a lifelong journey. So we always want microwave results, but it took us a while to be to the size, or what have you. So it may take some time to get where we need to be at. And also, depending on what we got going on in our bodies, what morbidities we have, if that's the word, if we whatever ailments we have in our body, sometimes that inner man has to be worked first before you see that weight loss. The microbiome, gut health, those things, it has to be worked first. The insulin has to be worked out first so that you can lose the weight, or what have you. First things first. First things first. Okay. So yes, that sometimes is why this happens. But thank you for saying that, Paula. Discouragement definitely can come in, right? So that's why a lot of times I say we want to make sure that we, quickly don't allow things like discouragement to keep us down. Now they may come because we're human, but we want to make sure that we don't stay in that state of discouragement, right? So that we can push forward easier. Okay, weight loss will be easier, better health will be easier if we keep a positive mindset, which we talked about a little bit more last week. All right, hello Monty, how you doing? Thanks for coming in, sweetheart. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. So Felicia says, you did that, Kim J. And yes, praise God for shielding you and your health. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Felicia, for that. Greatly appreciate you, sweetheart. All right. So Paula says, yes, my doctor has reduced my blood pressure medicine to the lowest dose. I can't just go off cold turkey. I understand what you are saying, Kim J. Yes, yes, yes. And I heard somebody else talk about that too. Yes. So I was like, because at first I was like, oh, but I was like, you know what? I understand. It is what it is. And he's, I think he has my best interest at heart. He don't want nothing bad to happen to me. I mean, you can have a heart attack, you can have a stroke, you can have different things when, I mean, it's protecting my heart, right? So matters of the heart. So yes. Paula says, amen, Kim J. Yes, God has been so good to you. Yes, yes, he has. Okay, hello, TT. How you doing, sweetheart? Thanks for coming in. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. So everybody's just saying hi to one another. Paula says, I'm doing well. TT, how are you doing? Pretty good. Awesome, awesome. So Mary, hello. How you doing, sweetheart? Thanks for coming in. And she says hi to me as well as everybody in the chat. Hello, Candy K. How are you doing? Candy K all day. Yes, yes. All right, so everybody's saying hello to one another. All right, Monty says, I really have body dysmorphia, even after the loose skin removal surgery. I am working on it, but it is hard, right? My brain hasn't caught up with my body yet. Is yes, I understand that, Monty. And I pray that that everything, works out for you with that that it does catch up, and it doesn't take a long time to do so. That's my prayer for you. Okay. So yes, um, that's my prayer for you, Money. And you're not alone in this. I mean, a lot of people do. I know. I remember me, feeling that way a little bit. Back in February 2005, 2025, February 2025. I was feeling a little bit of that. Because I saw my everything going down, slimming down. I saw that, but my arms, I'm like, oh my gosh, why is these arms so big? Why are they not going down? Why is this skin not retracting back? Where my triceps are. What is going on? They're just starting to hang low, and instead of it being big and more together. That right there bothered me a lot. So I understand a little bit about that. And I had to pray it off. And I'm like, Jesus, please take this away from me because I don't want to feel this way. So I definitely get that. And it finally kind of faded away. I don't like it still, right? I still do not like it. But I don't feel, body dysmorphia anymore. And I praise God for that. All right. Paula says, Miney, did you lose a lot of weights? Kenny K says, hi, Mary. I watched your collab with your best friend and the fancy machine. Ooh. Miney says, yes, Paula, 165 pounds, honey. Awesome, 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 Miney. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, awesome. And Amani is another one that does a lot, of just making sure that she does the natural things that she needs to do to, um, create the body that she wants, right? She said, Paula says, congratulations. All right. Kenny K says, Money, that's a whole that's a whole person you've lost. Yes. And then she said therapy. So yeah, sometimes therapy definitely helps, when it comes to maybe body dysmorphia. Some people, and just this whole journey, losing weight, trying to get better at health definitely, is can mess with the mental. It could be good and it could be, bad, what have you. So some people, yes, it's okay to have therapy if you think you need it. If you're really dealing with something that won't go away, um, and it's really bothering you, sometimes therapy is what you need. Sometimes it might be something that maybe, like for me, the body dysmorphia feeling, it was something that, I just prayed to God about it. And prayer definitely changed things. Prayer can change your mind about how you think of things, right? Not that it went away, but, as far as, the situation may have not gone away, but God can show you or have you thinking a different way about it, right? So yes, so prayer definitely helps. Therapy does helps. Talking to someone about it helps. Having a community like this helps. So you have to pick which one may help you the best, for each individual. But yes, thank you, Kenny K, for mentioning therapy. That definitely, is one way to, help you when it comes to things like that. Thank you, Kendi. Okay, she says like, comment, and enjoy the vibe. Thank you so much. Hello, beautiful color. How you doing? Thanks for coming in. She said she had a long day, so back in the clouds, but listening in. Thank you, and I love you too, sweetheart. She said she loves all of us. Yes. Thank you, beautiful. All right, so Mary says I am using the Vibro Sculpt Pro to help out with hanging skin. I got to check that video out. I'll check it out. Check it out. Kenny K says, hi, Evelyn. Thanks for joining us. Chillax. Yes. Thank you, Kenny K. All right. So Ruth says, congratulations, Miney. Kenny K says, oh, one thing is for sure. YouTube is not a replacement for licensed clinicians nor therapists. I know that's right. Now, that's the truth. That's the truth, right? But we definitely can, get, some I won't say advice, but like some ideas, from people that are in on YouTube, and then we go and talk to our doctors. Like I, say a lot. Go and talk to that dietitian, talk to that doctor, talk to your physical therapist, your regular therapist, for mental therapists, and even, if you have a personal trainer, you definitely need to make sure you talk to your healthcare providers. Okay, kidney doctor, health, heart doctor, whoever, whatever doctor you have, talk to them, okay? Because we just telling our personal journey, right? Like it says, always consult with your healthcare team before starting any of these medications, any medications, period, right? Regimens or exercise routines, all right? And I thank you for that. Thank you so much, Kenny K, for that reminder. All right, so Monty says, I do nitpicking things, but in my mind, still 330 person, so I don't recognize myself a lot or think people are watching me in clothing stores. But I have great trainers and dietitians helping me. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm happy you do have someone that can help, that that you feel that is helping you, with your journey. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And yes, she's talked about, a definitely a dietitian. and she has a, great routine, when it comes to um, exercise. She gets that exercise in, honey. She be in boot camps and all kinds of stuff with that training, strength training. And then also, her dietitian is Nourish. She has a dietitian that, is in that group of, Nourish. And yes, they sound like they know what they're talking about. And I love, when she shares things about it. So awesome, awesome, awesome. And yes, a lot of us do nitpicking things, honey. I can tell you that, Miney. You're not alone. You're not alone, honey. But yes, I pray that everything works so well. And if you all, Sweet Life Squad, would pray with, on her behalf, as well as the whole, Sweet Life Squad and community, I greatly appreciate it. Send prayers up for, everyone, because you never know what people are going through on a day-to-day basis. We may smile in this camera, we may smile in this chat, but we may be going through personal things that, that can get to us at times. Of course, we already know those things, the negative thoughts, all the, things that we feel, the devil don't want us to be great, and we really supposed to be celebrating ourselves, celebrating the things that, the wins we have, but giving all glory to God. We do supposed to do that. But I know sometimes, situations get the best of us because we're still human. We're still human. So yes, we just try to make sure we do everything in our power to try to not be in that, in that negative state, but for so long, right? God knows that we are going to deal with it. That's why it's in the Bible for us to know what we need to do, which is why we should study our word, or what have you. Um, all right. So can y'all tell me what is your biggest benefits? What is your biggest benefit or your biggest challenge on your GLP-1 medication, or your GLP-1 journey? Can you tell me in the chat? Somebody, everybody doesn't have to say it, but what is your biggest benefit or your biggest challenge when it comes to GLP-1 medications? If you don't mind. And then, just to let you all know, for me, of course, like I said, this GLP-1 medication, Manjaro, that has helped me with type 2 diabetes, not only has it done that, it helped me with better health in general, right? I was able to get my A1C down in 5 months, from a dangerous high level to the normal range. Okay. I was able to get my blood pressure under control. So these are my benefits. I was able to get my A1C down in 5 months. I was able to get my blood pressure under control, back in the normal range. And it had been 200 something, over 100 something for years before I started taking the medication, blood pressure medication. And at some point, I had to take water pills. And that right there, as an African American, my doctor had told me, one of the doctors from before was like, hey, African Americans, they're on 2 to 3 medications, easy, some more, but he wanted to put me on more. And so I talked to my cardiologist, and he was like, you don't have to, your pressure is down better now. But when I got on this better health journey, it went back to normal range very quickly, just like my A1C. So I give God the honor for that. Also, 76 pounds in 1 year. A lot of people that, are on Manjaro, some people cannot say that, not comparing, each other, but I'm just saying that's something to give God praise about because it's something that I was able to accomplish. I did go back up in weight, about 15 pounds or so, but afterwards, but just within a year's time, I was able to get 76 pounds. So I thank God for that. That's a benefit as well. So bigger than I've ever, all the days that I have been obese, have ever been able to reduce in size, in weight. So I'm happy about that. My cholesterol levels, they went up. They, LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, we call bad cholesterol, that was up, pretty high. It was able to go back down. The last time I checked, it was at 100. They want you to be under 100. So I was right on the cuff of the normal range. I still have to get it checked again, sometime soon. But yes, when I go back to the doctor next, I'll be getting that checked, rechecked. My total cholesterol, though, went down and it's in the normal range. So I'm happy about that. My HDL was down, pretty, you know, in the 40s, right? But for women, they want you to be 50 and up. I was able to, at one point, I was down, but I was able to get that back up in normal range. 50, I think it was 6 the last time they checked, and they'll be getting checked again within the next, few months. So that's awesome. Let's see. My kidneys, they are doing, good. It's, normally it was a stage 3, stayed at a stage 3 kidney disease, but chronic kidney disease. But, I see sometimes it's like 2B to 3A. So that's good, right? It's stable. Okay. And sometimes better, especially when I get the water in that I should get in, right? Yes. Um, to stay hydrated and not be dehydrated. Because when you're dehydrated, it bothers your kidneys. It does not help the kidneys filter like it's supposed to. And so therefore the EGFR, that blood marker that they look at, that can be, that can take a hit. Okay. A big hit if you're not making sure that you are, that you aren't dehydrated. Okay. You don't want to be dehydrated. You want to make sure that you are hydrated. So, and that's not even just for people that have kidney disease, right? That is for anyone. That's why it's important to make sure you're hydrating, and your doctor needs to let you know, or your dietitian, how much hydration you need to get. All right. What else? My hormones, all over the place. They were all over the place. Okay. So I decided to take some medication for that. Estradiol, progesterone, and I have since took a little bit of testosterone as well. So before I even start taking the testosterone, the um, the estradiol and the progesterone I took for 2 weeks straight, and went to my gynecologist, and she ran some tests on me. I got my medication from my endocrinologist. They can, prescribe it as well. Now, when he prescribed it to me, I told him that I was going through some, hormonal changes, and hormonal shifts can stop your weight loss, right? So that's why I want to talk to him about that. I'm trying to do everything I possibly can do, like I said, naturally, tweak things that I need to tweak, if I need extra medication. I'm trying to do all of that, to make sure that I can, do everything that I can do in my power, right? And then trying to also not be weary in well doing, right? Because I do know that God says that if I continue to do what I supposed to do, what is required of me, then I will reap the benefits. I will reap the rewards, and I have been reaping those things. So yes, that's why I said, that's why my title says that and I'm not boasting in it. I'm thanking God for it, right? He gets the glory. I got it. It was for my good, right? Romans 8:28. It was for my good, but it was definitely, something to glorify God for, right? Yes, because if it was not for him, none of this would be going, right for us. None of this. The medication would not do good at all, right? We wouldn't even have the medication if it wasn't for God. So yes, I think that's another reason why it's good to have this medication, because it's helping so many people. Day by day, we're finding out that so many people. And if it did not help you or somebody that you love, I hope you find something that's going to help you. But there's no reason to be a naysayer and say, oh, it's, what wasn't good for one, means that it's not good for anyone, right? No, that just means that this particular medication was just not for you. So you find something else. If I take Tylenol and the Tylenol is not taking my pain away, I may just have to take Motrin or ibuprofen, right? Or I may just have to get a prescription drug. It's just as simple as that, right? Every medication is not for every single person. But again, my benefits outweighs my drawbacks. So some of my drawbacks is itching. I have itching at the injection site when I take my medication. I have minimized that though, so it's still, he turned it upside down for me. Instead of it being, a drawback, my mindset and my thoughts and what God has given me to help me with this itching situation, it has helped me minimize it. Um, I use a little cream that helps me. Also, I use Benadryl. So I'll take some Benadryl, which it's just a pop of, a little Benadryl pill, take it, some hours before. And then, and I didn't think about that and realize how that could have, helped me. Dr. Jen F, had told me one time about it. Excuse me. So I started using it. Also, my doctor as well, said that was a good thing to use. But she told me like take it in, so many hours ahead of time, right? So that kind of helped me in that effort, as well as I was I use CeraVe, okay, and so that helped me as a cream, and it helps me as well. It definitely helps minimize the itching, to the point where I don't itch really as much anymore. And then I found a spot on my body where it a lot of times won't itch at all. I still do that little concoct, do the little thing, but it barely itches at all, if at all. So I'm happy about that. I heard Grace, losing to Grace, she said that she started putting an ice pack on, her body, because I didn't realize she was itching, but for a long time. But then yes, she kind of talked about it. But yeah, she put, ice pack on for 10 minutes before she did the injection, and then she put the ice pack on the 10 minutes after, and that helped her, and it took the itching away and the red spot that she was, getting. So that's a blessing, for her on this medication. So she don't have to deal with that anymore. So that drawback now is she don't have to worry about that. That's not a drawback anymore for her, right? So yes, so other people, had other testimonies as well about the itching. But yes, that's my thing. As well as, I would like to, I'm happy I was able to share hers tonight, because she finally, let us know, because she wanted to make sure it was good first, that it was actually working first. Now I tried ice packing, like icing mine before the spot and then doing the injection, but I never ice after. I never thought to ice. And if I did one or two times, it was like real quick. It wasn't really, like a long time. So I did tell her I may try that and see if it works for me. Well, I won't have to maybe take the, medications. I can just do that. Right. So we'll see. We'll see. And I'll let you all know if I decide to do so. Um, but yeah, so that's a drawback for me. I've never had I had nausea maybe probably two times in my journey, and it was for about not even a minute, you know. Not it's something just kind of made my stomach feel weird, like queasy a little bit, and then it went away, like a smell, which is that was kind of weird for me. All right, constipation I have dealt with. Yes, when I got on the 5 milligram dose at the beginning of my journey, I felt a little constipation. I took medication for that. Okay, then when I got to the 7.5 milligrams, I had a little bit more constipation, and so I took medication for it. I took it's the Equate brand, but it is a Senna, and it's like Colace, for the name brand Colace, okay, and it's a 2-in-1. So it's a Senna, which helps what with get it moving, right, as well as it's a softener, stool softener, right. So that's what I take, and what else? And then I started, eating more fruits and veggies, green leafy veggies, fiber. That's pretty much what it is. More fiber, more water, or what have you. I increased my fiber from the daily 25 milligram dose that is recommended daily for us, to 35 milligrams per my dietitian. And so, yes, that helped tremendously. So I didn't have to like search everywhere, all the grocery stores for dragon fruit, because for some reason I could never, very, very seldom find it, even though that helped me. And then also, I tried the soursop bitters one time. I have, a video on both of those things, the soursop bitters and the dragon fruit. The soursop bitters, not a good taste at all, but it was worth it because I wanted to get, rid of the constipation. I also have had fatigue, like around the beginning phase of my journey. I was having some fatigue when it comes to, the medication. And that's normal to have fatigue. A lot of people do have fatigue, but I found ways to get rid of the fatigue. And as time progressed, that went away anyway. Slow progress. Yes, frustration. That's right now. I have that now. right now. Yes. Well, I was doing very good with the progression of, me losing the weight, the my health markers were looking better and things of that nature. Yes. I want to jump back on my weight loss, but again, sometimes the comorbidities that you have keeps that thing, keeps me thinking, keeps me trying to figure out some things, keeps me on my toes, keeps me tweaking, things. And so, yes. But again, I already know when it comes to that, this is a journey and it may take a while and it's okay. What we rushing for? What we rushing for? Right? To go to maintenance and do the same thing that we were doing now. All right. Blood. I'm sorry. I also had what else? Body image struggles. I talked about it a little bit, where I didn't like the fact that my arms were looked way bigger than my body. The sagging skin or the and I don't know if mine is considered it is sagging skin, but it's meat in it too, so it's fat in that as well. So I don't like the hanging, flabby, fat up under my on my triceps. I don't like that. So I deal with that a little bit. Better now though, because I gave it to God and asked Him to help me with the mindset when it comes to that. What else did I've dealt with, which is a drawback? Um, Not knowing, even with that, not knowing if I'm going to have surgery, if I'm going to decide to have surgery or not. We talked about it last Tuesday. I don't know if I want to have surgery. I've had a lot of surgeries. I don't want to do it again. But if I decide that it's for me, it's right for me, I will. It's not like off the table, but it's something that I don't know if I really want to do anymore. Every time you go under, who's to say you're going to come back up? And I don't have to do it. So we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to keep doing the strength training. I'm going to keep doing what I can do. I'm going to keep praying to God about it, and I'm going to keep the faith. Okay. All right. So yeah, those are some of the things. I know it's probably more, but yeah, those are some of the things that I have dealt with, on my journey. Drawbacks. So again, my benefits far outweigh those little drawbacks. Because with those drawbacks, I have found remedies, to minimize them. But my successes, honey, I was never getting to, before I started this GLP-1 medication. Now, at some point, I may have gotten there, but I had a tool. I used the tool. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. All right, let's see. Oh Lord, let me see. Oh Lord, I done lost my place. Hold on. Trying to find my little spot back, y'all. I remember that. All right, so hello, 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 Meech. How are you doing? Thanks for coming in, sweetheart. Thank you for coming in. Poetic Meech. All right. So hope you're doing well. So Kendi K says listening and editing. Thank you so much, Kendi. Delayed digestion, getting enough fiber daily is what Kendi K said she has. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That you're getting enough fiber daily. All right. Hello, Sunita. How you doing, sweetheart? Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, Miss Kim. Hope your day has been good. Yes, it has been good. Thank you so much for that. And I hope you have enjoyed your day as well. All right, Money says my diabetes is in remission. How about that? How about that? Yes, yes, yes. The food noise is gone. So I can focus on what I need to. I am now doing things in the gym I never thought possible. That's what I'm talking about, sweetheart. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes, yes. Felicia Marie B says biggest challenge was disconnecting a negative mindset with food, my body, my past traumas, and the weight loss journey. And biggest accomplishment is healing, loving, and choosing myself. I love that for you, FMB. Phoebe, I love Phoebe. Yes, I love that. Yes, yes, yes. And you will do, you will have, all these things, the challenges you had, or having, you will conquer those as well. You will conquer those just like you conquered that weight loss, sweetheart. Yes, yes, yes. Just keep the faith, keep praying to God, keep doing the things that you know to do, and it will all work out for you. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so Miss Ruth says benefits. Overall better health, was pre-diabetic, but now normal A1C, no more knee joint pains, normal blood pressure, moving my body more easily, etc., etc. I know that's right. Yes, yes, yes. Her challenge though is constipation. But guess what? It's better now. I know that's right, Ruth. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That sounds like another benefit outweighing the drawbacks, right? Yes, yes, yes. Great, great stuff. Hello, Grant. How you doing? You're okay, honey. You're okay. Just in time. Just got out of church board meeting. I understand, honey. You're good. You're good. Thanks for coming in. I hope you're doing well, Grant. Everybody just saying hi to Grant. Let's see. Grant saying, hey, everybody. Hello, Pammy. How are you doing, sweetheart? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming in, sweetie. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you are doing wonderful today. All right, so Perry says, I found some good sleeves on Amazon that help to hold in the arms if you look or want for ways to hold the arms in. Thank you. Thank you, Perry, for sharing that. Yes. So did you put him on your on your video today? I think I saw a video drop for you. You got to look at it though. But Perry says, I also okay, you got compression sleeves that are like the tops that are compression, but they are separate sleeves. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. So those are things if you have, issues with your, the way your arms look, that may help. Compression sleeves may help you. Thank you so much, Pammy, for coming in and sharing that with us. I greatly appreciate it. Hello, Miss Jerlene. How you doing, sweetheart? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, all right. Let's see, let's see. Everybody just saying hey to one another and saying they're doing great. Awesome, awesome. All right. So Miss Pam says not today, but I need to do a video showing something. Yes, do that, do that. All right. So yeah, and I know what you're talking about, the sleeves, because I've seen it before, other people use them before. So I do know what you're saying. I didn't think about using them, but yes, I do know what you're saying. Thank you for that, Miss Pammy. Jerlene says she's down 95 pounds and she's feeling better, honey. Yes, that's a benefit. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, awesome. And I know Pammy's doing good on her journey as well. Yes, she's in maintenance, and yeah, she's doing a great job over there as well on her channel. She's showing us all. All right, woo woo! Congratulations, Jerlene. I know that's right. Okay. And Pammy, just to let you know, and Ms. Jarlene, that this today we're just talking about, sharing your your drawbacks as well as your benefits to the medication GLP-1, and just making sure that do you feel that your benefits outweigh your drawbacks? That's what we're talking about tonight. And I said just, because you're just coming in to the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Thanks for sharing, if you don't mind, in the chat. And like I said, earlier, for me, I want to lose. I want to get back down to 177. I started at 253 with my my journey of weight loss on July 30th of 2024. I was losing about over 2 pounds the first half a year, okay, up until December of 2024. And then, weight loss, I was by that time I was on 7.5 milligram dose. And then I started seeing the weight kind of slow down a little bit, which, a lot of times it does after you've been on medication for so many months. I kind of wish I stayed on a 5, truth be told, a little longer, but I didn't. I went on just to the 7.5 because my doctor, was trying to get me to go up. So I went on and went up after 4 months of using the 5 milligrams. And I can't live, behind, backwards, right? I can only move forward. So with that being said, I went to that 7.5, and, I felt myself, not losing as much, but I still was losing. 76 pounds in a year is great, right? It's awesome, especially for those who maybe, on a journey because of type 2 diabetes. Sometimes it's hard to lose weight when you're diabetic because of all the insulin resistance and things of that nature. This medication is trying to work on that, you know, even though it can work on the weight loss part of it too. But it definitely, the biggest thing is getting rid of, and that's why the medication was created. The GLP-1 medications were created for people to help them manage their type 2 diabetes. And then they found out that it was so many other things. Weight loss was one of them. So yes, when I got on it, I was so excited to ask my doctor, can I get on Manjaro? Can I, because I want to lose some weight as well as get better. But in the reverse, of course, I want to get better. And I knew weight loss was going to help me get better. So for me, I'm not actually chasing numbers. I'm not chasing the scale, but it is something that's important to me, right? I want to get back down to 177. Okay, I do. And then, I haven't gone over 200, but I don't want to get past, I don't want to go past 200. But, I, because I went down to that, I want to get back to that, and that's human, right? And it's not vain either, whatever. But yes, I know that's going to help me be even healthier. Me gaining the weight back because of inflammation, having increased carbs because of my low, me experiencing low blood sugars and things of that nature, me going down on a dose, and now we're back up on the dose and all of that stuff, that was happening, me having all these other ailments and everything, all of that contributes to, why I may not be losing like somebody else. Now it's easy for somebody to say, oh, well, just count your calories or just, exercise more or just, do this or just do that, what have you. And those things may work for certain people. But for me, I'm like doing a lot of those things really at this point, all of the things. And yeah, the weight still is not coming off like I want it. It's still fluctuating back and forth. So there's something else. I thought about too talking. I even went to a weight loss clinic, right? I'm like, I got doctors for all this other stuff: a heart doctor, a kidney doctor, a blood, PCP, an endocrinologist for my diabetes. I have all these doctors. Why not have a weight loss doctor? They can maybe help me. So around February, no, was it March or April of 2025? I have to look back at my notes, but I went to a weight loss doctor and I'm like, I will have a specialist for this. And they pretty much was like, normally for us, this is what we tell you: up your protein. And I'm like, well, I can't up my protein because I have kidney disease and I have to be careful with how much protein I have. I can't do this one gram of protein per my body weight or my body ideal weight. I can't do that. And then they said, well, then next we'll say, well, lower your carbs. Our program, people only, eat 50 carbs. That's the max they eat, you know. I'm like, I can't do that because I'm having low blood sugar. So that doesn't work for me either. So do some homework. I'll come back another time, see what hopefully you can help me, what have you. And even then, they were like, well, why did you come in before we even start talking? And I was like, because I want to lose more weight. I want to have a doctor that can help me, that a weight loss doctor. What can you, advise me? Because I see that I'm slowing down a little bit. So I figure I have doctors for everything else. Why not have a specialist for this weight loss thing too? And so she was like, well, and then that's when we went into all that, information and everything. And I'm telling her my situations and everything. And so she said, okay, well, you know, you're doing good, um, with what you're doing. And that's what my doctors would tell me. You're doing so well. You're doing so well. Everything is coming, where, going to where it's supposed to. And so they were all excited about it and everything. And I was definitely excited about it. My family was, but it was like, okay, but I'm losing less weight, or what have you. So I want to continue on this weight loss journey, doing hopefully 2 pounds of, every week still. So what can I do? And so of course, I went back to her one more time, and she was like, okay. And she went over the same stuff. And I'm like, so she didn't do the homework, to try to figure out what I can do to help me. So she went back over, hey, go down on your carbs. I still have issues with low blood sugar sometimes. Go up on your protein. I can't because of kidney disease. They told me, what did your doctor say? You know, well, about 90 grams of protein, it's okay. It's all right for me to do, per day. Um, Also, I can do 30 carbs per meal, what have you. So those type things. And so, I can only drink so much water because the kidneys as well. Because I can, kind of overwork my kidneys, and that's not good either, with all the water. So I did ask him, can I do 90 to 100 grams of protein? He said that's fine. That's my kidney doctor. I asked my kidney doctor also about water, and 90 to 100 is okay to do. But I don't, he did tell me the last time, he said, try to do at least 3 liters. So I'm like, okay. But the things that she typically would tell people, the weight loss doctor, she didn't have the advice for me. So instead of taking my money, just to be taking my money, she's like, sweetheart, you have a team of people to help you. So go talk to them about it and see what they say and kind of make them help you. And I also, like I said, I had a dietitian. So I did talk to everybody. But again, the biggest thing for them, and just like if you have surgery, the biggest thing is they were about what's priority. And priority at that time was my blood sugars and my A1C. So that didn't, so, and because I was losing the weight too, and because my A1C was looking really good, that's what they were focused on. So it was almost like I was already going in with all this stuff going on. So it's like, you doing it. And I'm like, okay, but I need something else. What else do I need to do? Because it got to be something else to keep the weight going, you know. And again, not being superficial, not being vain, but I know I need to get down a little further than what I am. That's how I was feeling. But again, for me now, yes, one of the drawbacks, like I said, is frustration, and it can be frustrating because of it. And I don't want people to feel like there's a lot of vainness to it, or all I'm thinking about is weight, because that's not me. Again, I'm about health, better health. That's my whole channel. It's about better health. Weight loss is a component of better health for me, and so therefore, but just like anything else, I want to hit on all the points. What can I do for myself to make sure that I'm good? And I still even have a still inside, even though I may go through some of the weirdnesses of or the woes in life about it, I still show up. I still am making sure I'm tweaking everything I can, researching everything I can to try to help me, coming to you all about the things, keeping my smile on my face, trying to, encourage you all and things of that nature, even though I may be going through things myself, what have you. But also a lot of times me encouraging you, it always encourages me too. Right. So, um, that's that for me. But I can say consistency for me, is helping me, my consistency about it, making sure I strength train, making sure I preserve my muscle with my strength training, making sure I get my movement in, making sure I'm, building resistance. I am, very much so resilient, or what have you. And that's my word for the year. I said it in January, I said again, resilience is like my testimony, right? Part of my testimony. Also, just learning disciplines. So where motivation once fueled me, discipline now fuels me. Okay. And when I do kind of slack off, I get back up because I know what I need to do, right? Um, Improve, and that's where like these challenges come in. It helps me with that, right? And then improve, and then you all as well improve mindset. My mindset is totally different than what it was back in the day. Becoming more active with my with my movement. Also, just seeing health differently altogether. Back in the day when I found I had, blood pressure issues, when I had, I didn't really do a whole lot about it. I just prayed to God. I was like, He gonna heal me. He's a healer, and that's it. Well, I forgot that prayer. I mean, that scripture, faith without works is dead. I forgot about that scripture. I knew it, but I forgot about it. You got to do the work. You have to do the work. It's not just going to come easy for everybody. Now, sometimes there are miracles that happen. Thanks God. But it don't happen like that most of the time. You got to put in the work. You got to have the faith, but you also have to put in that work. And it may take some time. That's what that gift of long suffering, that's what that's all about. It's a gift to long suffer. So we may be suffering long, but it's okay, because if we keep moving, if we keep pushing, we're going to meet the expected end, the end that He wants for us, the victory. Okay, the being an overcomer. That's what He calls us. So, like I said last week, once we know whose we are and who we are, then we can stand in this, weight loss journey, in this better health journey, firm on solid ground. That's what we can do. The more we learn about Him, the more we, decide to, do the things that we need to do naturally, as well as take this medication, as well as, make sure our spirit, our minds, our souls, our bodies, everything is coming together, you know, like we should, then we will be okay. And it's going to all work out. And I often say too, we look at the way how long it takes, to do things. But at the end of the day, when we get there, we do have a testimony about what we went through, right? But we have a smile on our face because God worked it out for our good. He worked it out for our good. And we see the manifestation of it. Sometimes we don't see the manifestation. Does not mean that we are not healed, because He said and promised that we will be healed, that we are healed, that we were healed. But sometimes we don't see it. That's when it feels, different for us. That's when sometimes that doubt set in. And that's one thing. He doesn't want us to be wavering all over the place. So we got to get solid. We have to be solid, in our, effort to do what we need to do, so that we can, reap the benefits, reap the rewards, make sure that this greater is, benefits, that it's coming, that it's, for us, that we live in it. Yes. So, and just to think about, even though we may be slower than what we want, but way better than what we were doing, even then, we have to remember that slow progress is still progress. It's still progress, y'all. So, again, I encourage you. It's encouraging me as well. And so, yes, I think we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine. We just got to give ourselves grace. That's why when we say give ourselves grace, that's what we're talking about. God giving us grace. So why wouldn't we give ourselves grace, and stop comparing our journeys? Stop comparing our journey. Sometimes better health takes a while, and it's okay. It's okay. And we need to celebrate at everything we can, so that we can, find the positives about life, find the positive about our journey. And that's what those non-scale victories help us to keep pushing us forward. Disciplines help keep us forward, even when we know, or well, I say, even though we think that we should be moving faster. I'm staying on this thing, honey. I'm staying on the ride. I'm staying on this ride. Congratulations, Miss Jolene. It's amazing about her 95-pound weight loss. Awesome. And that you're feeling better. So Pammy, she says 147 pounds today and maintaining 165 pounds lost for 1.5 years. Awesome, Pammy. Awesome, sweetheart. Love that for you. Grant says 2 pounds to go for me. Woo woo. Yes, yes, Grant. Yes, yes. I love that for you, sweetheart. Yes. Um, Pammy says, I definitely feel the benefits are so many and outweigh the drawbacks. Yes, they outweigh the drawbacks. Her benefits outweighs her drawbacks, y'all. You heard her. All right. Grant says, congrats to Miss Jolene. Felicia Marie B says, congrats, Pammy and Grant. Uh, Grant says, congrats to you too. Yes, yes. Pammy, Ms. Jolene says hello to Paula Ruth and thank you. Pammy says only drawbacks are learning to be sure I don't get constipated and not to get leg cramps. For me, I really have to take magnesium daily. I guess the skin is a downer looking older. I got you on that. I understand. But wow, I can't even file all the. She's trying to say she can't. It's just so many benefits. Okay. And lowering her A1C is one of them and probably the best one, right? Pammy says, and helps control and get rid of inflammation. It got help her get rid of her inflammation. I don't have knee pain anymore, so I can stand longer, walk upstairs like a normal person, not one leg at a time and pulling myself up. I got you. I got you. Honey, she used that one leg at a time now because I know she ain't hopping up them stairs. I'm sorry, Pam. I'm just joking. But yes, she don't have to pull herself up on them stairs. She don't have to use that rail if she don't want to, right? Yes, yes, yes. And she says also being able to get on the floor and getting up, fitting in places, being able to be active. I have energy, cross my legs, feel happy when I see my body in the camera, honey, and not hiding behind people. I know that's right. I know that's right, boo. Yes, yes, yes. And she also says, I will put up with negative comments over getting my life back. She'll put up she'll put up with negative comments because she got her life back, y'all. And she has a better chance to live longer now. Okay, if it's based on her health and God willing. I know that's right, baby. I know that's right, sweetheart. Let me see. Oh, yes. Also, Pammy. Pammy, let me see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on, Pammy. Hold up. Wait a minute. We got to stop right now, right here, right now, y'all. And all right. They have testified tonight. Y'all might of how good this medication works for you. Hopefully, allowing people that may be naysayers or people educating them or people that may be thinking about on the fence about starting this medication or just starting the medication. Yes, thank you so much for all of your comments. I appreciate you all so much tonight for participating with me in this effort. So Ms. Jerlene says the medication Manjaro 7.5 milligrams dose, the side effects like constipation, insomnia, and feeling cold versus no more sleep apnea. Blood pressure is normal. A1C down from 6.9 to 5.4, and inflammation has subsided, honey. Listen here. Listen here. You feel her? Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Wait a minute. Let me find this thing again. She says her benefits outweighs her drawbacks, honey. I know that's right. I know that's right, sweetheart. Okay, so Miss Pamela says, yeah, I'm sorry, my leg. Yeah, my regular dietitian told me to spread out my carbs now too, to have less each meal so it doesn't spike my blood glucose. Okay, okay. And then she says, yes, she's cold too. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Pammy. Sometimes we have to do that. Spread the carbs out. That's helping her, or that will help her. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Pammy. And she says, my A1C is also 5.4. My A1C, last time I checked, was 5.3. So I thank God for that. So yes, and I was at 5.4 for a while too. So thankful for that. I'm on a 7.5 milligram dose. Two, my blood pressure was actually good when I was 333. I'm sorry, 313 pounds. But I am sure that would have changed. Okay. I do sleep a little less now, 6 to 7 hours. Okay. Okay. So they say you should sleep, what, 7 to 8 hours, right? So what I'm doing, Miss Pammy, is I'm trying to prioritize my sleep right now. That's part of my 21-day consistency on my membership. 21 day consistency challenge. One of the things that I'm doing, because everybody picked their own thing, but I am challenging myself to get some more sleep. Now, Chat GPT, I call Chat, I call him a he. He told me not to be so trying to be perfect with the sleeping right now out the gate of me trying to, do better. But I do need to give myself a little grace with it and, try to make sure, I gradually go into it. So, and if I don't do it every single night, for right now, it's okay, but get something started. It's pretty much what he told me. Not in, you know, to summarize it up. So, yes, with that being said, this week, I think it was Sunday. No, wait a minute. Hold on. This Tuesday. I want to say Saturday, Sunday, maybe Friday, Saturday. Okay, listen. I think for 3 days, 3 or 4 days straight, I was able to get to sleep at 2 a.m. That was my goal, is to get to sleep at 2 a.m. And I might still be very late for y'all, but for me, it's okay. Hold up. Let me see, because I got a note about it. Let me see. I'm trying to find it on my text message because I text Miss Felicia Marie B about it. Honey, when I say that night, that first night, let me see. I jumped in that bed so fast because it was right at 2, and I didn't want to get out of it, and I forgot to take my HRTs, and I'm like, oh gosh, how I'm gonna do this? So that's why I didn't get in right at I was like, it was like 1:59, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to hurry and get in. Let me hurry and go. Let me just grab HRTs with me, jump in the bed. I took them while I was in the bed. I wasn't playing. I'm like, 2 o'clock is gonna happen for me. I can't find it. But anyway, just to say, Felicia, you remember what day I told you I had jumped in my bed early? I want to say it might have been Friday or Saturday, maybe Saturday. But anyway, whatever the case may be, I have been doing it. Last night I did not get the chance to do 2 o'clock. I did like 3 something. But I did, since I've been doing my 21-day challenge, I have been getting to bed earlier. Instead of 5 to 7 in the morning, I've been getting to bed like 3 something. But the last several days, I was able to get it in the bed by 2 a.m. So I'm happy to announce that. So that way I can get, hopefully, the 7 hours of sleep. And I've been doing good with that. I still have to get up because I want to make sure my daughter's up. I do that still because she got to go to work very early in the morning. And she just started her schedule. It's kind of changed and it's kind of all over the place. So I do try to make sure she's up. But that's when I go take a little bathroom break real quick too. So, kill two birds with one stone with that, and then jump back in that bed quickly, and I can go right back to sleep. It's not hard for me to go to sleep at all. It's just me getting in that bed and going. I think I'm gonna miss something. So yes, I've been doing very good. So hopefully, Pammy, you um challenge yourself to get that 7 hours in. That extra hour in, to make sure it's 7 to 8 hours. You can do it, Pammy. I believe in you, honey. All right, so Mr. Grant says, I can't sit for longer than 30 minutes now without my behind hurting bad. Guess I know where I lost a lot of padding. I got you. I feel you on that. So that is a drawback, right? But it's probably a good one, right? I feel the same way like when I sit on the ground. I mean, on the floor. I don't sit on the grounds, but on the floor. And how some people, they'll sit on the floor and they'll have their they'll have like a weight on their by their feet, and they go from they lift their legs up and do that. I don't know what it's called, but the weight is here and they just going back and forth like that with their legs. honey, when I get there and I do that, I feel very weird. It's very uncomfortable, on my, my butt. So yeah, I'm like, I can't do that. I got to find something else. That's not the one for me, right? Because yes, while I still have a lot of donk, it's still smaller than what it was. Yep. So I get you on that, Grant. I get you on that. Miss Jerlene says, yes, indeed, Pam. Uh, but sarcoidosis is in remission, better mental clarity. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Miss Pammy says, oh yeah, Jerlene, I don't have to use an inhaler when I walk now. How about that? This is what I'm talking about. Better health, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. Beyond the scale. The scale is one great way to get better health, to reach that better health. But this kind of stuff right here, these testimonies right here, honey, is why the rewards are better. Not just for me, Kim J, but it is also for these people, these beautiful people in this chat, honey. I'm so excited for y'all. So excited. So excited. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Jolene says bat wings flying, but I'm okay with that too. I know that's right. Look. Mhm. See, I can play and laugh about it now. February 2025. I don't know why I keep saying 2005. February 2025. Hey, this right here was bothering me. Oh my gosh. I was so sad about it. I had to pray that thing off of me, honey. Pammy says, my brain fog seems to be getting better. The mental clarity of it all. I had to add creatine. See, I can't take creatine because my kidneys. I have to be careful because that's harsh on my kidneys, right? My doctor did tell me I can have it during my strength training days, but I didn't want to take it until my EGFR goes up to a certain point, right? So I just said I'm gonna hold off on it, what have you. And then also, if for some reason you decide to take creatine and you have, CKD, definitely, if your doctor says it's okay, and also my dietitian said it too, for those days only. But even if I chose not to anyway, because I do know that it is harder on your kidneys. So I'm like, I want it to be a certain level, like I said, before I do it. But if you decide to do it, definitely make sure you talk to your doctor or dietitian. Make sure they're on the same page with you, and also make sure that you're getting your lab works. You're doing your lab work every so many months. Okay, you need to make sure that EGFR number, the protein in your urine, as well as that creatinine level, is where it's supposed to be, or you don't need to take that stuff. Or if it gets lower, then you need to stop it. So be very, very careful with that when it comes to chronic kidney disease. All right. My brain fog seems to get better. The mental clarity, I had to add creatine, healthy fats, and who knows what else, but it's getting better than it was last year. I'm happy you mentioned that, Pammy. Sometimes you just can't pinpoint. I wish I can pinpoint it, y'all. What can help me and what hurts me, or helps stops me from moving forward. I won't say hurt me, but stop me from moving forward in my weight loss aspect of the journey, right? Um, because as well as even with the low sugars, because I've done a lot of things to try to tweak, to make sure I don't have low sugars, and I've been doing way better than what I was before. I haven't had a whole lot of blood sugar lows like I did before, but I have had some. And again, I know sometimes with people that type 2 diabetes, they may have them, right? Especially when your levels are, your A1C is really good, right? In the normal range. But overall, my A1C is 5.3, at least it was in February. So, with that being said, at some point I do go up, my numbers do go up. We're over the 100, what it normally is when it comes down to, when you're fasting, so when I eat foods, it does go up at some point. But, over a 3-month period, 6-month period, and right now it's at 5.3. But yes, healthy fats definitely is good for us. Avocado oil, olive oil, avocados, fats from nuts and seeds. Those are good. You have to be careful with the nuts and seeds as well as the other fats because you don't want to eat too much of it because too much of a thing is not good either, of course. But yes, I would love to know what specifically could help me. But yes, it could be so many different things to that could stop this weight loss. Or put a pause on it. I should say. I'm not gonna say stop it, but put a pause on it or what have you. But I'm willing to continue to move forward. So thank you for that, Pammy. Paula says great benefits listed, Pam, Jarlene, and Grant. Yes. All right. Pammy says, I really enjoy your testimony, Kim J, and bringing us to church. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's in you gonna come at you, right? And I don't mind, sharing the goodness of the Lord with people. That's what we're supposed to do, right? That's what we're supposed to do. I don't have to be in the actual pulpit to be a witness for God, right? So Jarlene says, thank you, Felicia, Grant, Pam, Ruth, and other supporters wishing me longevity. I know that's right, Miss Jarlene. Yes, we definitely wish you long life. We wish everyone in this chat, everyone in the replay, everyone in the bushes long, healthy lives. And that's what this medication is doing for us. Yes, yes, yes. Giving us back, the life that God really wants us to have, helping us reclaim our health, not just lose weight. Yes. All right. Grant says, grace, God's grace that will pardon and cleanse within. I know that's right. I know that's right, Grant. I know that's right. Perry says in a little song he has in his heart, All right, so Perry says, I know I want everyone to feel as good or better than I do now. It's like we feel this goodness and we want to share it. Yes, we want to share it. We want to scream it off the rooftops, right? That this medication has helped us tremendously. Yes, there were drawbacks. Yes, we have slow periods at certain times. Yes, we have our woes, but God, but God, but God. He has blessed us so much, when it comes to these medications. If it was not for him making sure that it, works for us, it would not have worked. It would not have worked as good. So we have to give him all the glory for it. And we have to give ourselves credit too. We did the work for in doing this, right? We did the work, making sure that we're doing things. We're not cheating. We're not, taking the easy road out. We are doing the darn things and we should be proud of ourselves. Give ourselves a pat on the back, at a girl, at a, guy or what have you. We should cheer ourselves on. We should hype ourselves up and we should hype each other up. And I thank you, Sweet Life Squad, for doing that with each other, to each other. Yes, yes, yes. Um, all right. Jarlene says, Miss Jarlene, excuse me, Paula, appreciate you and this positive community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jarlene, Miss Jarlene says, congratulations. Uh, so Miss Ruth just giving her, Miss Jarlene some kisses. Yes, yes, yes. Congratulations to Grant. Grant says, thank you and praise God. I know that's right. Paula says, thank you, Miss Jarlene. Pammy is laughing. Amen, amen. Pammy says, thank you. I enjoy how you read that too. I thank you. Thank you. I enjoy how you read that too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I'm excited for you, Pammy. Whoop whoop, Miss Darlene. I know that's right. Pam says it's true. How much sleep is important. If I get off my phone, I get the 7 hours. I know what you mean, honey. Because I be on a lot of times I'm on my phone or I'm on a YouTube looking at something, or sometimes I'm at the gym, a little later than I need to be. All kinds of stuff could be happening, honey. Why I'm not getting in that bed. Like, get your rump in that bed, ma'am. When I say that first night, honey, I'm like, boom, jump in the bed. Like, you know how the kids jump in the bed sometimes? And you be like, stop jumping in that bed. That was me that first night. Yes. I'm trying to get there before it clicked 201. So I can proudly say, I got in this bed finally. at 2 o'clock. And then I did it for the next couple of nights. I was not last night, but the next few nights. I'm like, I was so excited. I've been telling people I gotta get in bed. Wait a minute, I gotta get in bed by 2. I was telling Felicia, listen, she was like, hey, I had to call you back. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm going to bed before 2. She's like, okay, if I can, I'll call you before 2, stuff like that. So yeah, laughing, but having fun with it. And we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to have fun with our journey, enjoy the good parts of our journey, think about those more than we think about the negative parts of the drawbacks of our journey, right? Yes, yes, yes. Get off the phone, Pammy. Get off the phone, girl. And Kim, too. Saturday you drove. Right, I dove to bed Saturday. Thank you, Felicia. Yes, that was Saturday. Had me cracking up inside myself, cracking up. I said, as long as I get into bed, I don't have to be asleep, but as long as I get into bed. Because, honey, when I get in that bed, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep. Like, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes less than that. Yes, it's just getting in there. Paula says, I have to turn mine off at bedtime. See, I can't turn mine off because my baby might need me. I got babies outside of this house and they may need me, honey. Then you got, my daughter had a grandbaby. She, had my grandbaby. New baby and all. I got to be ready because one day, like, she had called me one day. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. She had to ask me a question about it. She was frantic about something, and I'm like, I got to be there for my child, honey. So I can't turn my phone off. But yes, I get what you're saying, though. Mm-hmm. You all, you all are right. I can do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Oh yes, I have seen that. Yes. She said, Paul says, yes, you can do it, Pammy. You can. And I'm happy that we're not judging anybody on this platform. We're not on this platform here, Sweet Life Squad. We don't judge each other, right? We help each other be better, right? We help each other. Now we may tease each other a little bit because I like laughing, but not to the point where we, talking about or, being down on each other, right? We try to help each other grow. We cheer each other on. We cry with each other. We laugh with each other. We try to keep smiles on our faces. We try to think about the positive things in life because we got so many negative things that can, tear us down, right? And the devil wants us to feel that way. But no, 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 no. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy, right? And one of our other content creators say distract. Yes, because he does. He comes to distract us as well because he don't have authority over us. So yes, if he can distract us long enough, then maybe we'll stop believing in God and what God says in his word and believing in ourselves. And so that we'll feel defeated, right? And then hopefully we'll destroy our, you know, our efforts of doing good things. No, 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 no. Not this time, devil, you are a liar. You send that devil right back to hell where he's supposed to be. Keep him under your feet, okay? Where he's supposed to be, right? Yes, yes, yes. All right. So Pamela says, wouldn't it be good? Wouldn't it be a good video if we all stood together or put videos like on the stage and flap our back? Oh my gosh. That would be fun, Pammy. You gonna start it? Look, I know we all probably can't get on the same platform. Well, we can because StreamYard will let some people. It depends on if you're paying for the StreamYard or not. To be able to get on the platform together and do our thing. But yeah, it depends on who has paid StreamYard. We can do that. I don't know if everybody want to do it though. Baby says, "Oh, I'm trying to watch the creatine to only 3. Good. Creatine to only 3 milligrams. I got you. Awesome, awesome. Because I know sometimes it also can put weight on you. Because it's water, add water in the muscles or whatever. But it's supposed to taper off at some point. After you start taking it. But yeah, start slow. I know with my testosterone that I'm taking now, because I was in the normal range when they looked, did my test results, but it was in a low normal, so I wanted to go up some more. So I take that. I don't take it every day, but I supposed to, y'all. But it's a cream I got to put on my wrist or put behind my knees. And because I was thinking testosterone would be good to take more to make it, be, up a little bit better in the normal range, like in the middle normal. Excuse me. I was hoping that that would help, but they want me to do. I have a cream, and it's like it looks like kind of like not like a deodorant bottle, but it kind of reminds me of the deodorant where you know dial it up, the cream up. So I dialed it up supposed to dial it up 4 clicks, and then rub it on. But I asked the doctor, can I do it? Start with 2 clicks just to get used to the medication before I go into this big four. And I don't know what kind of side effects it's going to give me. So I understand that, yes, sometimes that's good to just start off small with, even with the creatine to do the 3 milligrams a day and see how that works. And then if you need a little bit more, then maybe add a little bit more. If not, you can stay where you're at. But it definitely, creatine helps with a lot of stuff, a lot. Look it up and check out the benefits for those who don't know the benefits of it. And if you can take it, as long as you don't have CKD. Pammy says, I'm due to check in my creatine too. Oh, your creatinine, you're saying? I think you're talking about your creatinine. The high dose Tylenol after surgery in August raised my creatinine. Okay. Let me read it again. Okay, you said it right. I'm due to checking my. So she got to be careful with taking creatine because Tylenol at a high dose after surgery, which is what a lot of doctors prescribe, it raised her creatinine a bit. So I understand that. And that's one of the things, yes, we definitely need to make sure we are, don't have a raised creatinine level because it can mess up your EGFR. And that's what to determine, if you have kidney disease or not, if your kidneys are working well or not. Ms. Jolene says, community, I want to announce my Apple Pay was compromised. So please let me know how I can renew my subscription to you, like Cash App or other because I want to continue to support you guys. So with that, Miss Jolene, let me move this off the camera. With that, Miss Jolene, when it comes to if you have an Apple phone and you don't have an Android, what you can, and you use your Apple only, then you can get on a laptop or you can get on or a regular desktop if you have them, if you have one of those. And you can, sign on to regular YouTube, find that person's channel, click on that channel on the, click on the join button and then join that way. So you may have to, come off of a person's channel and then rejoin that way. If another way you can do it is you can use Cash App, but I don't. So, well, you know what? I don't know because I don't have an Apple. I don't think it matters with the Apple though. If you have an Apple Wallet, you put your Cash App card in your Apple Wallet. I'm thinking that will help you as well. You just click on the, you want to use Cash App to pay for your memberships. You can do that as well. Like I use PayPal to pay for my memberships, as well as my AdSense. Like when I get paid from because I'm a partner with YouTube, I use PayPal, not my regular bank. So you can do that, but you can put it in your wallet and try to do it that way and pay that way. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that you could do that as well. But like I said, I don't have Apple, so don't quote me on it. But I know you definitely can go on the because I looked that up as a research, looked it up, go on your laptop or go on a regular computer, desktop computer, and go through regular YouTube and join that way. That's for Miss Jolene as well as anybody else that wants to join someone's membership. So you will bypass um, that tax that Apple charges. For some reason, they're charging some kind of extra tax, and so it appears that the subscription is higher. Like my subscription is $2.99 and $4.99, and so for memberships, depending on what which level you want to be on, and but I remember when I was talking about it, Shawnee looked at it and she said, she had an Apple and when she looked at it to pay for her on her phone, it was showing $3.99 and $6.99. Ms. Jolene came back and said the same thing. So yes, that's when I looked it up to find out what's going on. Why is that happening? Because I know I only put $2.99 and $4.99. depending on if you're a Sugar Rush member or a Sugar High member. And yeah, didn't know what that was about. But yeah, I looked it up and that's what it said. So a tax that Apple charges. So that's that, Miss Jolene. Hopefully that helps you. Miss Pammy says, you are so right. We don't have to be in the pulpit testifying amongst our friends and community. Matter of fact, the Bible tells you to go out, you know, because people that are not saved, that don't know the Lord, may not be in the church. You know, there's some people in the church that's not saved, don't know the Lord, not trying to follow his word, nothing. There are people like that, you know. There are people that say they're saved and not really, you know, walking like they're supposed to. But of course, nobody's perfect. So, but we do supposed to strive to be more like the Lord or what have you. But the people that, you know, that need to hear about God, maybe never heard about God ever again, they're out, you know, on the, you know, out in the open, not in the church, right? So not as much in the church, I should say. So yes, he wants us to be witnesses and go ye forth, teach all nations, go, going out, you know, and minister to people, just every day talking, you know, to people about the goodness of the Lord. Yes, you don't have to have a title to your name. Thank you for that, Pammy. All right, Paula says, "Oh no, Jerlene, I'm sorry to hear that." Yes, Miss Pammy says, "Oh man, Jerlene, I had issues with PayPal too." So wait a minute, did I miss the PayPal part? I don't know if Miss Jerlene. I know Miss Jerlene said she had some issues with the PayPal. I might have. I don't know if I missed it or not. Miss Pammy says, "Oh man, Miss Jerlene, I had issues with PayPal too, so I can only add membership from my computer, not from my phone now." Okay. Ms. Jolene says, please, Pam, email me to let me know more. And Pammy says, Paula, I out my phone on, oh, you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and I set it up to only vibrate for the family. Yep. Yeah, some people do that. After 10 o'clock, they have their phone sets Do Not Disturb. And I'm like, I'll tell you how you got to be in the know to know how to get past that Do Not Disturb. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna say it, Pammy. Yeah, so I understand that. Yep. Candy K says, congratulations on your weight loss. Thank you, Candy K, and you too, sweetheart. All right, so Candy K says, Grant, congratulations on your weight loss, honey. All right. Paula says, I don't have grandchildren yet, so I can turn mine off. I know that's right, honey. Especially if your kids stay with you, honey, you can. Miss Kenny Case says, hi, Jerlene. Miss Jerlene says, amen. God has this community covered. We rebuke any negativity. I know that's right. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Al, thank you, sweetheart. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for the chat, the super chat. I greatly appreciate you. Why ain't show up here on the top? I don't know. It ain't pop up top. Thank you so much, Al. Greatly. What's going on? Not much. Just talking about how these GLP-1s are helping us more than hurting, you know, or the benefits versus the drawbacks. Just trying to school some naysayers. Oh, there's more than one way to have better health, right? And we take whatever we need to take to get it done. Yes. Miss Paula says, Al from Brooklyn in the house. I know that's right. Paula, how you doing? I'm doing well, Al. How are you? All right. Miss Jolene says, God bless you, Kendi K. Yes. Yes. May God bless Miss Kendi K as well as everybody else in this chat and in the bushes and on the replay. All the Sweet Life Squad. Al says, I'm great. Thank you for asking. Hope family is doing well also. I hope your family is doing well too, Al. Kendi K, how are you? Fee the bee. How are you, sweetheart? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Thank you so much. Kim Possible, how are you doing? So good to see you. You too, honey. I gotta check your live out Sunday. I be missing your live, honey. This 11 o'clock thing. I was with my family Sunday night. They want to do this family thing, eating dinner on Sunday night, and it went a little long Sunday. It go long a lot of days. So yes, I couldn't catch your live Sunday, but you're doing a great job, though. I know you are. But I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, and thanks for coming tonight. I'm happy to see your name in the chat. All right, so Pamela says, "Hey, Kitty K all day." Pamela says, "Right, I had to use my laptop or computer to subscribe into memberships. I wish I knew the last month. This last, maybe Miss Kitty K know. Miss Kitty K, if you're still here, can you tell us what can somebody do when it comes to memberships?" Miss Jolene here, she's had an issue where she's being charged more because she's using an Apple phone, and so she, um, joined a lot of memberships on her Apple device, and they're charging her extra money. And I know some other people are having that same issue, so you might want to do a little uh, what do we want to call it? A little video on that, a little live on that, on your channel. Or you can tell in the chat for her, Miss Jolene. But yes, you may want to, check out that do something like that on your channel too. That might, help some people out. Those who have Apple devices, they're being charged a tax on top of the membership fee. Ms. Pammy says, right, I had to use my laptop or computer to, oh, I spread that. And yes, that's the way around it. Using your laptop or your computer, going into the URL. I don't know who used to say Earl back in the day. We used to call it the Earl, but URL. Going into that and putting in youtube.com. And when you go there, go to the person's channel, find their channel, find their little join button, click on that join button, and, join that way. Kenny K says, hi, Pammy. Now, the Android people don't have to do that. We can still go through our regular phone and join. They're not charging us the app. Samsung or Androids in general are not charging extra taxes, at least not right now. So Kenny K says, Pammy, I'm over here revising our thumbnail. Okay. That's from Monday night, y'all. Miss Kenny K, she has which, I've talked about on my channel. I've been on the panel, a GLP-1 collective. And, there are people on the panel. It's on Monday nights. It's at 6:15 p.m. Yes, Eastern Standard Time. Go check it out. It's a treat. Yes. Check it out. So Felicia says, Alvin, hello. You always got the knowledge to let them know. Okay. Kim, thank you so much, Al. We want to make sure they straight understand, honey. Don't just be talking at the side of their mouth. Make sure they understand. Hello, Shiny. How are you doing, sweetheart? Thanks for coming in, sweetie. Hope you're doing well. Yes. All right, so Miss Jolene says, oh, y'all check out Shiny little video today. She was showing her her gym thing. She was doing her little thing in the gym. Yes. Her gym workout today on one of her videos. Miss Jolene, she had a good live last night as well. Miss Jolene says, I'm going to miss the super chats. I love to give. Yes, you are a giver, Miss Jolene. I thank you for that. And then she says, God loves a cheerful giver. He does. Yes. He blesses people that give. And even if you don't have the funds to give, you may have the intent to give. He blesses that as well. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for that. All right. So Paula says, yes, Shani, enjoyed your video on why you work out. Yes. And why she don't, and then why she doesn't share all the time. Sometimes when it comes to gym, you're in a zone, and sometimes, trying to film, you may have people, walking around, and you don't want to, put other people in your video, sometimes, like I said, you're so focused, and she shares, her reasons. But for me, as well, I feel it on what she was saying. I'm focusing on what I'm doing, and I'm trying to play with this camera and all that, trying to make sure I got the right angle and all this other stuff. I got to jump back on the machine, make sure it's all in frame, and all that stuff. And I'm still learning all this stuff. So yeah, it can be a lot, right? And I'm just in here trying to get my groove on, right? Trying to get my strength training in, or my aerobics in, and trying to get up out of there. Try to hurry get on that massage bed, right? Because I get on normally afterwards. the hydro massage at Planet Fitness, as well as the massage chair. So I'll be looking forward to that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to hurry up and get in and get out. So yeah, sometimes I will share, because I think it's important for me to share because that's part of my journey, and I have fun doing it. But that's why I do it late at night because then I can film a little bit more freely. You don't supposed to be filming in there per se, but sometimes they will let you, mine let me. But yeah, um, I just make sure I don't film nobody, right? So Al says, fam is important, Kim. Right. I ain't going nowhere till YouTube tell me to. I know that's right. Until YouTube tell me to. I got you, honey. And it's always a replay, right? It's always a replay. So yes, I get to do that. All right, and cheer you on, Al. Okay, big shouts out to Felicia and your whole family, honey. Yes. Thanks, Al. Dr. Shani says, I'm going to cancel my subscriptions and redo them using a desktop to get the regular price. Gotcha, Shani. Understand. Understood. All right. So Pammy says, I don't think it's all about the tax, but the Apple phone won't let me add a membership. Oh, it won't even let you add memberships. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Okay. But I use the computer and it will work. Yes, it will definitely work there. Thank you, Pammy, because I didn't know some people couldn't add period. That's crazy. I wonder because do you have like your something like the PayPal or whatever added to your wallet? If you have it to your wallet, Apple Wallet, then I know you can add it, but I'm not sure. Like if you're not, using your wallet or whatever, they may not let you. But I'm not sure what your situation is. But yes. So Paula says, Shiny, the only way I can get a regular price is to go premium with YouTube. That's another way. Yes, I do remember it saying that premium with you going premium with YouTube. Yes, and that has its own benefits as well, right? So Pammy, oh yes, I keep my eyes on my mind. I'll keep my eyes open to post your update. Okay. All right, thank you. And then Pammy says, does Al Jones have a channel? He does. Yes, he does. He does. Al, when are you going live again? He goes live on Sundays, and I think it's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of 12. Honey, I was running over there one day at 12 o'clock. Oh, I'm going to be on time. Yes. Not so much. He was gone. He was gone, child. He was gone. I think he go at 11 now, seem like it. So Pammy says, hi, Shani, I need to watch it too. Yes. All right, Shani says, hi, Pammy, please go watch it. I need to see if it allows you. I got to notice it's blocked in certain areas. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, I was able to see it. Paula says, yes, Al has a channel, Pam. Yes, he does. All right. I have every type of payment on my okay. So yeah, I don't know why it's doing that for you. Trying to make not let you be great. But you found a remedy, and that's awesome. Al says, I do yep, I just be chatting. He does it so well though. He just be he flows, honey. He be flowing. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. Not yet. I flow, but I kind of make mistakes too and along the way or what have you. But yeah, he can be talking about whatever and it just come out right. Okay. That's how I feel, right? And then it just goes from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. And he just be going for 30, and it's only 30 minutes, y'all. Only 30 minutes. He just be hanging out with his friend. There you go. Look, I ain't even read it. I'm saying it. Hanging out and talking, laughing and vibing. That's all. And Paula, I go every Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, he changed that thing on me from 12 to 11. But also he does show too shorts. He has shorts on his channel where he's doing his little shrimp training. Yes, check him out. Look at Al. Look at that. I'm sorry, Kim, but I appreciate you regardless. Yes, I appreciate you. But like I said, I can look at the replay. So yeah. Paula says, okay, good to know, Al. All right, Jolene says, I'll check you out, Al. Al says, you're doing it now, Kim J. You're awesome at it. Thank you so much. You know how some people see you, see more in you than you see in yourself sometimes. We be our own critic. Yeah, I'm working on that too. And I'm working on that. So Paula says Al does flow. Yes, he does. He's groovy like a like a driving movie. I know that's right. Y'all got Al blushing now, y'all. We got Al blushing over here. I know he is. Kim Kenny K say, hey y'all, hey. Hey, sweetheart. All right, y'all. So I am done for the night with my topic, with my conversation. I need to eat. I only got sleepy. What else I need to do? I need to hit what? I got 8,613 steps. So I got what? At least about 1,400 more to go. So I got to get done. I got to eat dinner. Yeah, y'all. I got a lot to do. So my day has not, and I got to get to bed before 2. I gotta get bed for two. So, all right. And I need to post on my channel. I have not posted my post today, y'all. I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna post it anyway. And I have it ready for you all the next days. Tomorrow's ready early. I'm gonna probably put it out by 12. I'm gonna do a post, what is it called? A schedule post for tomorrow. But I'm gonna put it in tonight. So for those who are looking at my post for the May Walk Challenge, for the Sweet Life Squad, and the 21 days of consistency challenge for my Becoming Inner Circle membership group. Yes, I'm going to put both of them out right after I get off this live, and I'm going to schedule the tomorrow's for 12 noon for you all to give your updates. Okay, and you can give them whenever you want to, and I'll go ahead and make sure I check in with you all. Good night, Paula and GLP-1 community. Miss Al says, can you feel me blushing over here? Yep, I know you. Big shouts out to Paula and the whole entire chat. Kim, as always, you're amazing, sis. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You are amazing too, bro. Yes, yes, yes. All right, Miss Jolene says, non-scale victor, I will be 72 on Memorial Day. And that's the day that we end our challenge, honey. You're going to be more, not just 72, honey, but you're going to be more disciplined, more consistent as well. Better. Yes, you are becoming even more, right? Yes, yes, yes. A better version of yourself. Love you, Miss Jolene. Yes, yes, yes. And we will be celebrating you as well. Your 72nd birthday. 72, Miss Jolene. Also, let me get, wait a minute, hold up. Hold up before we go, y'all. Hold up. Wait a minute. Miss Jolene, happy early birthday. All right, Miss Jolene. And that's just for a little bit for right now, a little bit of what we got for you, planned for you, that I need to plan for you for your birthday. All right. Pammy says, I'm definitely looking for Al now. Thank you so much, Pammy. And Al says, I appreciate you. Paula says, I'm sorry, Al, I appreciate you. Happy early birthday, Miss Jolene. Miss Jolene says maybe a veggie and carrot cake. I know that's right. I know that's right. And it's okay to have a little carrot cake on your birthday, right? Al says, happy birthday, Miss Jolene. Yes. All right, y'all. So I'm about to leave. I love you all. I hope and wish the best for you all on your journeys, whatever journeys you are. Know that the journey, everything will work out for your good and for God's glory. Okay. Keep faith, keep hope alive. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. And for those, hopefully we have no more naysayers. At least for the ones that's listening to this live tonight, that I have educated you all a little bit and also given personal journeys here tonight about how great the GLP-1 medications is working for us. Read up on research before you start talking, okay, about these medications. All right, y'all. Peace out. Love y'all. You're welcome, Miss Jolene. She says, thank you, everyone. Good night. Good night, baby.